Hello and welcome back to another Room 3, where last episode we played through the third chapter of the game, which was the Clock Tower, and today we'll be playing through the fourth chapter of the game, the Workshops. But before we can get to the workshop, we have to return back to the atrium, which means we have to go back through all the rooms we passed through to get up here in the first place, which is a very fun thing we gotta do, so let's just double click through all the doorways until we eventually arrive back in the central room where we have previously placed the other engraved pyramids. So let's double click on the center as we did previously, and place our new engraved pyramid in its respective place. And as a reward, we will be given this optical device right here. Where are we going to put this? Well, if we back out and turn our camera to the left-hand side, we're going to see this little circle on the wall. We're going to place the optical device in the place where it looks like it would fit, right here. Now, we cannot rotate this outer ring, but we can rotate the two inner rings. And why we want to do that, you may ask? We want to do that so that we can redirect the light beam to shine on this thing in the center. So to do that, we have to rotate the outer ring, of which we can rotate, so the second most inner ring, I guess you could say, so that it bounces off of this one right here, and then rotate the innermost ring, so that the reflector is up on the top, so that it shines into the middle, and then the doorway will open up for you. Let's go ahead and head on through the doorway and into the next exciting room. And you should know what to do by this point. It's basically just like muscle memory for everything that we can, and for all the previous chapters. It's basically the same process for all of them. You just, first things first, you go up to the power generator wall right here, move this top one to the second most slot to the left, move this one all the way to the left, this one all the way to the right, this one all the way to the left, to create a closed circuit to power this on. Next step, you guessed it, we're going to flip the power switch right here. Then, to mix up a little bit, we're going to go back to the other room, where we're going to flip the 4 switches, which we'll find over here to the left, and then push the button that appears in the center. Like I said, muscle memory at this point. And then, of course, we have to make the green wave match the black wave. Although, look at that, it's actually a little bit different this time. Actually, I guess first we should read the letter. Another test passed with all colors flying, and now the time truly is at hand. I promise you answers, and answers you shall have. Every soul is unique, and so must every trap that snares it. An altar of belief, a tomb of answers, a crypt of terrors. For A.S., his box full of demons, knowledge, power, sight beyond sight, all lies, all just bait in the trap. This house was to be yours had you failed, but you walked free of it as you have all the rest. I am certain now that you are the one I have sought, the one who will find the center of the labyrinth, the one who will walk free of this very realm. Signed, the Craftsman. Anyway, let's go match up the green wave to the black wave. So, this is actually a little bit different, but not by much. Basically, you have to move the bottom slider in sync with the top slider until they are exactly the same. It's nothing too complicated, but, you know, something different, I guess. Anyway, doing that is going to open up the doorway to the next big room of the game, the workshop. Welcome to the workshop. The very first thing you want to do once you get here is turn the camera to the right and zoom in on this little stand right here, and then take the key you'll find hanging in the top right, and we're going to use this key to open a trap door that we find over in this corner right here. So zoom in on this spot and flip open this little cover so that we can actually put in the key and then give it a good old turn. Then we can pull this metal rod out, giving us the freedom to actually open the trap door. Let's give it a little flick to open it up. Then we can pull this lever back towards us to redirect the redirect the water, so that it is flowing towards the water wheel now. Alright, now that we're over here, we'll go ahead and read the letter that we can find on the table. Here you arrive at the birthplace of my enterprise, and your final lesson. Here is where I began crafting my masterworks, and where you shall learn to do likewise. That which you seek is contained in the box on the table here. Accessing it will require the mastery of many tools. The first set of keys you will have to make yourself, but the final one is held ready for you. Signed, the Craftsman. Now then, let's back out and then double click over here, pick up this leather case, open it in your inventory, and then slide this little rod out so that we can open it up and then take a kindling from inside. Then back out, double click on the bottom left hand side of this box, and then press the button that we're going to find right here. Doing so is going to give you a piece of flint. Let's go ahead and take that. Now we're going to back out and switch over to the left side of the box, double click on the bottom left hand side to flip open this latch, then do the same thing with the bottom right hand side to flip open this latch. Now I have a bit of a puzzle to solve. So, the way this works, the first note that I want to make is that on mobile devices, these are going to be colored blue and red. So the purple gems right here are going to be blue on mobile, and the green gems is going to be red on mobile. I don't know why they changed the colors for the PC edition, but the actual puzzle solve mechanic is still the same. So the idea here is to get all the purple tiles to match up with each other, and the green tiles to match up with each other. So here's what you want to do. You want to click on this tile first, to move it over to the right. Then you want to click on this tile to move it over to the left. Next, click on this tile and move it over one slot to the left, then click on this tile and move it all the way over to the right hand side. Now we have this big open slot in the middle, and then you can click on the green tile over here, or the blue tile if you're playing on mobile, to shift it over to the right hand side. Oh wait, no, sorry, not blue tile. I got it mixed up. The red, this would be red tile. I got them mixed up. I'm gonna refer to them as the colors as they are on pieces so I don't get them mixed up in my head. Now move this tile over to the left hand side, click on this one again to move it all the way to the left, click on this one to move it all the way to the right, and now they will slide into their proper places, and as a reward for solving this puzzle, we'll be given a metal casting. Now we're going to immediately use this, so let's back out and go over to this thing right here. Put the metal casting right there, and then we can drag this to the first light bulb we'll see out of the three. Now we're going to be able to activate the other two at some point, but for now what we want to focus on is opening this door right here. And the way we do that is there's two tiles on the floor over here. And these are essentially pressure pads. And what we need to do is move this sandbag to fall on both of those pressure pads to unlock the two latches on the door right here to get into the other room. To do that, we want to move over to this podium right here, put the metal rod into this slot right here. Now, we're going to do this one panel at a time. We're going to start with this one and then move over to this one. So the first thing we're going to do, it's very simple. This controls elevation, this controls direction. So this would be moving it up, left, right, and down. This would be just raising it higher or lower. So first things first, you want to move this to the left. And then you can drop it down. Now before we do anything else, we're going to head back over to the door, and then we're going to flip this over to the left-hand side. There we go. Now that's taken care of, we can return to the podium, and we can drag the sandbag over to the second pressure pad over here. So here's what we need to do. First we need to get it up from its position, so let's rise it up. Then pull it down to bring it towards us. Then drop it onto the second pressure pad. And there you go. Now we can step through into a different room. Alright, let's go explore what the new room has to offer. So let's go ahead and double click our way through the door. First things first, we're going to turn our camera over to the left hand side. Look at this right here and then drag this out of its place so we can swing open this door. This is going to be important for later. But now that we've done that, what we want to do is actually go back to the other room that we were just in, because we need to get the sandbag into this new room. How do we do that? Well, with the same controls we were just using a second ago. So first, raise it up from the ground. Then I'll move it forward. Move it to the right. I said move it to the right. Then move it forward once again to bring it through the doorway we just opened. Now we can go in back into the other room. And then we can go over to this handle right here and lift it up. And then we can, as a result of doing that, we can take the metal bar. Next up, we're going to go return to the main room. So let's go back out, turn our camera around, and then step back inside. Now over here, you'll see that we're going to find a forge right here. So here's how this works. You want to double click on this spot right here to flip this open. Place the kindling we got earlier right in here. Then close this up. Now place the flint above the wheel. And for your final step, you want to turn this wheel counterclockwise. Now we can go ahead and pull this handle and place the metal bar we found earlier right there. Well, we have all the ingredients in place, and now all we need to do is tell it what to make, and we do that by heading down here. Now, does this kind of look familiar? Well, it might. If we head over to the main box in the center of the room that we were at earlier, you'll notice that there's a symbol down here that kind of looks like it might match the type of symbols that are over there. So keep this image in mind, and then we can head back over to the forge we were at just a second ago, because we are going to recreate that symbol so that we can tell this forge exactly what we're trying to craft. So let's go ahead up here. All we just got to do is rotate these around until it matches the symbol over there. So this is the symbol on top, this is the symbol in the middle, and then this is the symbol on the bottom. Make sure you close this before starting. Then head over here and start pumping this until the temperature gauge enters the red. And just like that, a key created in the forge. Now we can use the key that we just created on the keyhole over on the main box. Let's go ahead and double click to zoom in here, drag the key into its place, and then give it a good old turn. Now the first thing we want to do is slide this to the right hand side, then back out, look around the right side of the box, and look at that. We have opened up a secret compartment which gives us a hollowed out metal block. Now, to do the same thing on the left-hand side, we can just shift this disc to the left to open up a secret compartment on the left, in which we will get ourselves a small connector. Now that's when we can return to the right-hand side and place the small connector right here. Then rotate this wheel to the left to slide the connector all the way down to the bottom. And now we've been given a mechanical disc. Now as you can see, we have a bit of a puzzle to solve. So we have two pieces right here with symbols that are the opposite of what they should be. So we have this symbol which matches up here and this one which matches up here. So how can we reverse their positions? Well, it's quite simple. First things first, we're going to get these pieces out of their current positions by moving this one this way and then bring this one close towards us. Then shifting all the standard blocks as far back as they can so that we can push this one to the back. Then bring the second one over to the left-hand side so that we can shift this piece over to the right like so. Then bring this one up toward the back, this one over to the left so that we can shift it down here. Then shift this piece to the right, this piece upward, this piece towards the middle, so we can put this one over to the left, and bring this piece in line with its respective symbol. One down, one to go. Alright, let's swing our camera back around and get to work. Nope, leave that one right. Well, we're going to move it eventually, but for now we're just going to leave it right where it is. Alright, bring this down, push this right, push this into the back corner, and then shift these pieces, one to the left, one down, to bring this into the back right corner. Then from here, we're going to shift these two pieces upwards so that we have it tucked away in its nice little corner right here. Alright, so this might seem counterintuitive, but we're actually going to push this away from the spot where it has to be in, so that we can push this one down, this one to the right, this one down, so we can shift this left, push these two, push this one towards the back, this one to the right, and push this one right down here. There's a method to I'm trying to say there's a method to the madness, I promise, because now that these are both in the same line, we can push this left, this one up, and then this one up, so that we can push this right and bring this down, and then they will both be aligned with the spots they need to be in. Very cool puzzle. Now then, we can take right here a metal casting, and I'm sure you know what we're going to use this for. We're going to go back over to the light bulbs that we saw before, connect these two pieces together so that we can drag this to the second light bulb, and that's 2 of the 3 done. Now, you may notice that, if we zoom in right here, there's another set of symbols which we need to find in order to unlock the middle level of this box. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the symbol is, commit this to memory, and then we're going to go ahead and back out over to the forge, because yes, we are making another key. How we're going to do it, you may ask? Well, first things first, we're going to zoom into the bottom of this symbol right here, place the hollowed out metal box we found earlier right there. Then, what we are going to do is simply align this to match the shape of the symbol that we saw earlier, so that means we're going to put this up on top, we're going to put this one in the middle, and then we can put this towards the bottom. This will resemble the shape of the middle key. Then all we gotta do is put the last key in the center plate right here, push it in, head over to the right, and then start stoking the flames just like we did last time until the temperature gauge enters the red, and watch the magic happen. Now that we have the key in our inventory, we're going to open up the mechanical disc in our inventory to examine it closer, and then spin this inner ring. So, oh my god, I did not need to back out like that. I spin this around so that it transforms from a disc into a gear. Then we're going to take this gear into the other room that we unlocked earlier. So let's go ahead, go on in here. If we turn our attention to this on the right, on the left-hand side, we can actually place another gear down towards the bottom. Now we can take the belt that has just been provided for us in this hole right here. So let's zoom in, take the belt, then zoom out, and then use said belt to connect these two together, like so. And we can collect the chest piece. We're also going to collect the other chest piece that we're going to find right here. Now we're going to take these two chest pieces and return to the first room that we were just in a second ago. And we're going to place these on the main box in the center. Let's go ahead and zoom in right over here to the left side of the box. Then place one chest piece on one side and the other on the other. It does not really matter which side you place them on because either one will work. Then we can put on the eyepiece to discover a little mini puzzle for us inside. So let's go ahead and rotate this water wheel so that the missing piece right here is aligned with the window so that it'll slide right on out. Then we're going to shift the switcher here to move the water wheel in line with this series of gears right here. Then we're going to slide this up to the top to rotate the roof. Let's go ahead and push this button right here. Slide this switch up. Now we can see that there are mirrors in the corners of the boxes, which we need to redirect light from. So if we push this button right here, light's going to start shining through, and you'll see that without us having to make any adjustments, they're already all shining towards each other. What we need to do is rotate the mirror so that the pieces that we'll see right here line up with the pieces that are on this one. So we need to rotate this so that this little Tetris block lines up with that. Then if we back out and then rotate this around, fortunately, this one's pretty easy. All you gotta do is hit this button on the left-hand side. Well, I guess I should explain. What we're doing here is we're trying to align this 4 red dots on this little mechanism right here. We have to align them all in this little frame down here. So how do we do that? We have to first click this button to shift the gear to the left, then hit this button 3 times. That's once, that's twice, that's 3 times. Now hit this button twice to shift it all the way over to the right-hand side. Hit the button twice from there. Then all we gotta do is shift this back to the center, and then hit this button as many times as you have to in order to get the final red dot into position, and then once you do that, you will have solved the puzzle. And as a reward, we can take a metal casting. So now if we just go over to right here, place the metal casting in its place, we can drag this down to the 3rd light bulb and unlock our 3rd room. So now we can back out, and then go into the new room. To find a printing press machine. So if we try to use the handle, it's not gonna work. It's broken. So instead what we gotta do is take this piece of wood, then go over to the second room that we discovered by turning around and stepping on through. Then go over here. Place the wood that we found earlier right here. Then we can move it in place of the saw, lift the handle upward to saw it in half, and then we can take a small piece of wood. So now all we got to do is turn our attention over to the left hand side, where we can place this piece of wood in this machine right here. Now we can take a lathe piece of wood. But before we go back to that third room and use this as our makeshift handle, instead what we're going to do is return to the forge. We're not going to use the forge, but I do want to draw your attention to this diagram on the wall right here. Pay special close attention to this diagram because it's going to be really important in a second. Now then, let's back our way out and then head in through the door. And then we can place our handle right where it belongs. Or we fucking can't, because you have to actually mess with this handle first before you can do anything, so you can try to move it, but it's not going to work. So now we can place our lathe piece of wood here, and then we can give it a turn. Now we can put on our eyepiece and zoom in through here, and now we are going to adjust the symbols right here to match up with the symbols that we saw on the mechanical arm over by the forge. And those symbols, if you don't remember, are this one right here, this one's already good, and then this one. Now we can take a camshaft. Now before we leave this room, take a special note of this right here. You'll notice that this is shifted in the second of the 4 little notches right here from the bottom. Remember that, because it's going to be very important in just a second. So let's go ahead and back out of this room by going back into the main room and returning to the mechanical arm, which we will find over on the right hand side. Once I have control of the camera, there we go. Head over here. We're going to place the camshaft in here. Then we're going to zoom in to this right here, move this to the second position as we saw earlier, and then we can rotate this until the hand opens up, and we can collect a strange key. Now, let's bring this key back over to the main box we've been fiddling with for this entire episode. Zoom in over here, go up to the very, very top of the box, then rotate the camera over to the left-hand side, put the key right here, and rotate it so that these 2 arrows are aligned with each other. Then we're going to shift over to this side, and the key goes here too, but it's not going to quite fit if we give it a shot. So let's open it up in inventory and adjust it so that this square hole is aligned with the others, because this one can be rotated. Once that's the case, we can put it on and rotate so that the 2 arrows are aligned with each other. Then shift over to the right-hand side once again, and notice this time there's a little indentation up here. So what we can do is we can rotate the end of the key so that there's a little thing that sticks out of the top. So this will line up with the symbol on this, so then we can put it in its place, give it a turn to align the 2 arrows. And that is the last thing you had to do in this chapter. Because now, as a reward for all that, we will be given an engraved pyramid. Chapter complete. Praise is due. You mastered the sinister machinery of the forge with aplomb. Let the splinters in your fingertips be a reminder of how far you have come. Alright, that will be it for this episode. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Hope to catch you all tomorrow for both the next episode and the finale of The Room 3. Because we only have one more chapter to go, and then I'll show you how to get all the different endings. Goodbye.